What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another one, and I have a brand new suggestion box review for you guys. I just watched a movie called Skyscraper, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Neve Campbell, and Pablo Schreiber. First of all, I have to give a huge shout out to Jaime Reyes. All right, my boy Jaime Reyes, former co-worker and a friend. All right, he's been suggesting and requesting this movie for quite the while, and I forgot, it slipped my mind because I had so much on that list to get through. But now, now it's back. I'm back on it. I'm with this. Here you go, man. And if you haven't subscribed, Jaime, subscribe. All right, I appreciate that, and I appreciate this suggestion. Truthfully, let's discuss The Rock's career. All right, the state of it. He's had some ups. He's had some downs. He's had a lot of downs. Okay. Probably the last movie that I watched from The Rock was Hobbs and Shaw. And that was decent for the action in it. Just for the action. That was not a thinker. That was not a thinker. I'm letting you know right now. Okay? And to be fair, when The Rock first came out, he had some decent movies. All right? He had a lot of decent, more than decent movies. Good ones. Great ones. Run Down, Faster, Hercules. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I think the point where I lost respect for his career was when he jumped into the Fast and Furious franchise. Because at that point, it felt like he was starting to take any role that was given to him. Same affliction with Kevin Hart. All right. And there were some movies before that were questionable, but this is when it took the turn for the worse. I didn't see Central Intelligence, I didn't see Rampage, and I didn't see Baywatch because of that. All right. So the question is, will Skyscraper be the one that I missed but I shouldn't have? The one that I jumped over? We're about to find out. Let's go. Skyscraper, for those who don't know, for those who are not aware, I feel like you are aware, but you just don't want to admit it. Okay? You're like me. You saw the trailer and your level of belief was out the window with some of the things you saw. Just being honest. But Skyscraper, it's pretty much about a guy named Will Sawyer, who is an ex-military, of course, investigator, all that, crime investigator, who years back was involved in a hostage situation where a guy was taking his daughter hostage, or son, something like that. I forgot what it was. And, Will was not aware of this. So when he turns around, he has the kid in his hand. And he has the bomb detonator in his hand. And he just lets it off. Bam. Everybody in that room either gets maimed or they don't survive. Years later, Will has, no leg, no bottom half of his leg on one end with the prosthetic there, and a lot of scars from that incident. But now he is the head of security for a lot of big buildings. All right. And he's been hooked up through another friend who was involved in that situation, the explosion, for a job in China. With the building that's supposed to be the biggest building ever. All right. What Will does not know is that his friend is setting him up, along with a lot of other people, a lot of other bad people that Will has no idea of. All right? And they want him to take the fall for the damage of this new building for a lot of crazy reasons. And that's the premise of the movie. First positive. I have to say I genuinely admired the integrity of the lead character, Will Sawyer. Alright? Because he was not like any other ex-military guy in this movie who was just doing a job. I could tell when Will did anything, he tried to think of the most far away possible choice to make that would not put somebody's life in danger, or to where he didn't have to kill anyone if he didn't have to. Not saying there were no lives or blood on his hand in this movie, but you could tell he had some restraint. He had more restraint than these other guys, or his friend who tried to kill him. That's a good example. When he found out that his friend was trying to stab him in the back, they had a little tussle, and then Rock got the best of him, wounded him. I'm not gonna say how he did. Even after all of that, your friend tried to stab you in the back. You still try to sit there, and he tried to come to his aid and help him with what was wrong, because he was wounded. He needed to help him with his wounds. He's like, "Man, are you okay?" He saw to that. A lot of people would not even do that. A lot of people would be like, "Man, you tried to kill me. Okay, your life is non-existent to me anymore. It doesn't exist." But not Will Sawyer. So I respect the way he handled himself in this movie. The way his character went about doing things was highly commendable. Alright? The last positive for this movie. The technology used for the building they were working on. Hear me out. There's a certain room in this building that I'll call the hologram room. Alright? I'll call it the hologram room. Okay? And once Will and the creator of this building, walked into that room, touched a button, and holograms popped up, and there were like mirror images of them. And everything that was being introduced, or that popped up in that room it was amazing. It was actually really cool to look at. I'm not saying it was the top notch best of CGI, but it was pretty cool to me. It was something I would actually, if this building really was a reality, I would love to go visit this building because of that room. Alright, it was almost like the Danger Room in X-Men, if y'all are familiar with that. It was like that. And to see that in real life is something awesome, I'm sure. There's also another scene in this movie where that room is used for a little action sequence, which was also great. Or one of the higher points of this movie. It's not on the level of the end of Enter the Dragon, but close. So I enjoyed that. All right. Now let's get to the negatives, because we have a lot to talk about. First negative. Remember when I said the trailer almost detoured me from this movie? You guessed it. Yeah. What I saw in that trailer. Let's start off. That's exactly what it was in the movie. Alright. Let's just think about this. There's a scene in this movie where The Rock is on a beam in the sky. The Rock runs across that beam. And jumps up into the building, or a broken window in the building, away from it. They don't know how things work in gravity. Okay, that's not how gravity works. Because first of all, he's running on a prosthetic leg. Second of all, The Rock is a pretty big guy. He's a really big dude. Okay? Third of all, he was not even running that fast to build up the momentum he needed to jump from that beam to that window. He would have been, if it was a video game, it would have been dun, 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 dun. Game over. Game over. Right there. The credits would have rolled, everything. He would have not made it across that beam. Okay? At all. That was impossible. It was no way. Another scene they had that had me scratching my head. His wife and the kids were trapped in that building, right? They were trying to get all the kids out of the building. There's a plank, a raggedy plank, that was not steady, that was put across one beam to another. Alright? The wife had to get the kids across on her back. This wobbly plank was not holding already, and The Rock had to do his best on the other side. The wife fell and slipped off of that plank, catching it, but the kid was on her back. This plank was, keep in mind, the other side of that plank was nothing holding it down. At this point, they would have been out of there. They would have been gone. The wife and the kid. I'm sorry to say this. End of the movie again. Roll the credits. There's no more. There is no way she would have survived that with those kids on her back like that. No. This reminds me of those Triple X movies, and I'm not talking about that Triple X. I'm talking about the ones that Vin Diesel, the other guy, was making for a minute. That they were so ridiculous that at a point you weren't watching it to really get into it anymore. You were watching it to laugh. And that's what this movie did for me. I was at this point just watching it to see what other outrageous stuff they would do. That they couldn't even try to make you believe that this really could happen. Okay? A lot of that happened. A lot of that happened in this movie. Alright? No. Another negative for me, the acting was horrid. They did that thing again where no matter how great the actors are, because of the budget, they'll lower the acting skills for some reason. Nev Campbell and all. Okay? They just forget how to act. Because, well, you're not paying me a lot, obviously. There's another movie, so I feel I don't have to act as great. That's the attitude I feel from this movie. With everybody. Everybody. They just weren't into it. They were not into this. No. A third negative. This is supposed to be a married couple. Yet, they failed to let The Rock and Nev Campbell kiss twice. I don't know if these two are married in real life, but man, I don't care. You're actors. I don't care if your husband and wife are watching you do this. Kiss. A peck on a cheek? Nothing. There were 2 times where they had the chance to kiss, and they purposely let you know they're not going to let these people kiss. It didn't make sense. It's not. That kind of stuff really kills it for me. I'm not even gonna lie. That kills it for me. Also, the plot was a little all over the place. Alright? It was, you're trying to keep up and figure out why they're doing this and that. It was so convoluted. It was such a stretch. It was a stretch. It's like the person just made up stuff as he went along writing the script. It's like, oh, well, that's because this. Oh, why that happened? Because of this. It's like, what were they smoking before they wrote this movie? If you don't pay attention, you might get lost in whatever's going on here. And because of that, I have to give this movie an eh. That's right, Jaime. I'm giving this an eh. It just felt like another Triple X edition that was starring The Rock. To me, it did. I want you to press that like button, subscribe if you haven't, share this video, share it. All right, watch this movie for the integrity of the character. If that's it, I'll see y'all later.